So hi everyone, good evening. As Tatiana just said, my name is Martha Bueno and I'm running for Miami-Dade Commissioner in District 10, which is on the other side of Miami, very far away from here. You can only vote in my district if you live in my district. It's really hot, so I was just gonna keep it short. I'm a libertarian, I believe in freedom. Woohoo! And I realize that a lot of people in this space believe in the same things. The next concept in liberty is separating, like church and state, separating finance and state, getting government out of our money. And so I believe that as the only person who is crypto-friendly that is running, that is why I am here seeking everyone's support. So thank you.
Okay, so Mark just flew here from Boston, and we were going to talk about NFTs and real estate stuff. And then you guys, I wanted you to talk about just Miami and what's kind of happening and how the city's growing. And maybe if you could talk about, like, how does that affect the rest of the world and what legal implications? Is it anything specific to Florida? Why is it so awesome for us to live here? Many reasons. So I'll let you guys just talk a little bit. Eryka, talk about your involvement with the city, your campaign, NFTs and real estate. Thank you.
All right. That's a broad topic, but...
Well,
Keep it short.
I'm happy to go first because I know that we have had a lot of speakers and we want to wrap this up quickly. But my name is Mark Cianci. I am a litigator and a blockchain attorney. I'm based in Boston at Ropes and Gray, and we have an international practice all around the world. One of the topics that's really been exploding over the past year has been the tokenization and fractionalization of real world assets and placing them on the blockchain. One key application of that is obviously NFTs. We also see it happening in the context of real estate, intellectual property, even things like fine wine, sneakers. We're seeing all of that, and it's an amazing facilitation of a key harmony between the in real life experience that we all value so much and the digital experience that has been transforming the world through blockchain. So I'm happy to speak with anyone about some of the legal implications there, and also want to make sure my co-panelists have a full amount of time for their topics as well.
I'm Eryka Gemma. A lot of you guys in this room know me already. I opened up a blockchain center in downtown Miami with the goal of making Miami the crypto capital of the Americas. And this was like before Miami was cool. I think that, my contribution to people is to help them understand that if you guys are really serious, especially in your own local communities, it's important to build bridges, right? Get the local government involved. I mean, I feel like the first couple parties that Mayor Suarez went to were the parties that we threw at the blockchain center. And he realized, wow, these people are intelligent, they're generally wealthy, they're well-mannered, and they want to move things forward. And so he actually hitched his train or his wagon to this train because he saw what was happening. So if you guys don't live here in your own local communities, it really is important to throw events and just see who shows up. I mean, if it is 5 people, if it's 50 people, it will grow over time. And now Miami is this crypto capital of the Americas, and it's grown to way larger than I could have ever happened. But nobody does it by themselves. I see Jorge over here. I see Enrique. People have been building with me since day one. And it's important to build a community of like-minded people around you, especially now, because you guys know that shit is hitting the fan. And so you have to surround yourself. I mean, unfortunately, right? It's not something to cheer about, but you need to surround yourself with people who will be able to survive what's coming and also be able to prosper. Because the only thing that's promised to us when crashes happen is really 2 things. 1, some people are going to lose everything, and 2, some people are going to make it out on top. And it's really, how are you setting yourself up in this time that's coming, right? Blockchain Center closed because of the flu 2019. It was really bad, apparently. And so since that, I have started a venture capital and advisory firm. So we invest into companies that support blockchain infrastructure. I really like companies that really bridge that gap between traditional finance and crypto. So if you guys have a startup that you're looking for investment and you're in that space, that's really what I'm looking for right now. Also investment for raising a venture fund. So if you have ideas on companies that or you just want to put your money to work before the economy crashes, definitely let me know. All right, so first thing is, how have you seen with Miami? Miami has been this hub for crypto, right? Now, what the local community has been really this incubator for that. What do you think is different about Miami and other places in the world that make it that everyone here is so receptive?
Wow, that's a great question. I think Miami, the thing about Miami is we're used to and adaptable to change. So this city...
A lot of Latin American influence.
Right. So we are the capital of Latin America. And recently we're taking in, people coming in from California and New York. So, I think that's why it works here, because we are the capital of, just people coming here and being able to build their business. We allow that to happen, or at least we used to. After that virus that you were talking about,
Flu.
we decided to shut down the businesses that created Miami. And I think that's really affected people. And I think it's also turned people on to crypto, because when you were shut down, when government said you couldn't open up, you had to find ways. And government can't shut down crypto.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that here we have such a Latin American influence. Like, I don't know if you guys have gotten Ubers, but they all speak Spanish, right? And what happens?
We may have a few in this room.
and what happens is that these people they get into Bitcoin because they understand what it's like to live in a world where your government currency is super inflationary, right? And so they get into Bitcoin not because they want to get rich, but because they don't want to get poor. How would you say this differs from where you're from and what you're seeing?
Well, I think it's really astute to observe that there's a wide variety of legislative and regulatory environments. That's one of the great elements of America, is that there's this incubator of various spheres of democracy. Florida and a few other states are leading the way in that from a regulatory perspective. But I think a couple of the themes that have come through in the prior comments are really important to emphasize. One of them is grassroots, because we live in a country where the fundamental direction from a commerce perspective is generated at a federal level. And right now we have a Congress that's been somewhat unable to come up with a comprehensive, holistic regulatory environment. And we talked about the benefits of the recent crash, and there are a few, but one of them has been the impulse on the part of Congress to realize that they can't let this sort of environment, which is so valuable, which is so innovative, which has the capacity to really advance human flourishing, they can't let that operate in a legislative vacuum any longer. So we've seen 2 or 3 really innovative bills just in the last few months, which, to the extent adopted, and we think a form will be adopted eventually, will provide a concrete framework which, from my perspective as a litigator and a lawyer, will really help all participants in the industry operate in a more clear space.
That's a really great point. Law and litigation and all these things, they're reactive. We, as the builders, we build the future, and that stuff reacts to what we build. So it's important to, I truly say, ask for forgiveness, not for permission, especially in a decentralized technology that allows the individual to be able to write into existence the laws of the world that we can see, right? And so, one thing that's really important to note, like just coming back to the idea of Miami, is like Miami is the largest Cuban diaspora in the entire world. To give you guys some tea, there was a little drama around the Bitcoin conference and some speakers here. Do you want to tell us just a little bit about that?
Right. So I kind of embrace both communities, right? I'm sort of kind of peripherally in this Bitcoin space and very involved in the Cuban space. And so
she's Cuban, by the way.
Yeah, I may be Cuban. And so I found out that Bitcoin conference was inviting an agent of the Cuban regime. Cuba's a dictatorship, for those that don't know. People don't have the right to vote or anything in Cuba. And so I tried to alert the Bitcoin community, and that didn't work out so great. And then we got him to not come. We showed the Bitcoin community what Cubans are capable of. Cubans were really upset that they were inviting this man. And the whole point of it is Cuba created a platform in which we, the Cuban diaspora, we send billions of dollars every year to Cuba. And they were going to keep these coins and give people what I call Chuck E. Cheese money, which is money that you can't use anywhere else in the world, which brings me back to that whole concept of getting government out of money. And further to that point, Erica was the person that helped me get in contact with Monero.
That wasn't me.
Helped me get in contact with Monero.
Monero, yeah.
Where I think that, a privacy coin like Monero, because if you use Bitcoin in Cuba, you can face up to 10 years in jail. A privacy coin like Monero will show the world that cryptocurrency is the future. Cryptocurrency is going to change the way governments are able to exert pressure on the communities that they oversee, because you're going to be able to opt out of the financial system that is imposed by a government. So I have here some friends of mine that are from Venezuela, that their country, their currency ended up being hyperinflation. You can't live because you can't afford to live. So something like Bitcoin, which does operate in Venezuela, it's one of the top countries in the world, you are able to opt out. So
I mean, Monero, you guys can mine Monero on a laptop. I truly believe that the economics of Monero are a little bit better and more advanced than Bitcoin. It's not necessarily a limited supply, but there is a very, very controlled inflation schedule. But just because I know that everybody wants to, get back to networking, and please, you guys, meet people in this room. Tatiana, thank you for curating a great party of great people. So make sure to meet people you guys have not met before. But one more question for you, and then we're gonna wrap up. So when you see, if you had any suggestions that you could make to the people about how to push this forward, from your professional opinion as a lawyer, what would you say?
Don't be afraid to engage. I think there's a big amount of fear that if you just start asking questions around what is the right legal approach here, things are going to start to blow up in your face. And we are currently in an environment from a regulatory perspective, especially with the SEC, where they're trying to demonstrate that the opposite is true. Our current chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, has made clear that if folks come to them and are open and engage with the dialogue, they're willing to discuss. And I think having that open and engaging mindset is going to be really valuable. It's also going to show the regulators and the legislators that we are willing to be in a collaborative dialogue with them and not just trying to go it alone.
Very cool. Okay, so if people want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
MarthaBueno.com, and on all social media is @Bueno for Miami.
Ropesgray.com, Mark Cianci.
And I'm Bank of Eryka, Eryka, because Bank of America sucks.